I'm a market strategist, right? So most of my clients are owners and founders.
Yeah.
So I really want to get to know them as well as possible, so I can capture their voice and implement on their vision. So I think, to me, that's also fun for me, right?
I tell people that being an entrepreneur is probably like the greatest self-development, self-growth exercise that you can go after.
100%. Every day, you should be learning something new about yourself, about your organization, about the industry. Every day should be a learning event.
All right. I'm here with my new friend, Adam Levin. There's no E in that.
There's no E.
No E, man. We're just going to roll. All right. So, Adam, the first question I got to ask is, what got you interested in the intersection between humanity and technology?
Great question. I'm all about authentic marketing, and obviously AI is all the rage, and it's fantastic. But if you're just producing content that's just AI, and there's no humanity involved, there's no individuality, you're not being authentic, I don't think it's effective marketing. I don't think it's effective, period, whether as far as just basic communication. You have to, ultimately, people want to do business with people.
I think that's just, people want to be doing life with people, right? Like,
Yep.
There's kind of this extension of what you're saying that just fits. And like, we've all kind of seen a lot of the AI slop that gets generated.
Yep.
And like, there are places for AI. There is also, I think, it's a new technology that people are trying to figure out how it fits in workflows, where it actually applies. But like, how do you fit authenticity into the world today? And like, I know that's a rather open-ended question. I'm kind of wanting to riff on you on this authenticity pace.
Well, for me personally, I'm all about developing deep relationships with team members, employees, vendors, partners, whatever. Ultimately, I personally need to make a connection with somebody, right? And then that connection comes through in the work, right? I just literally had a meeting with the CEO of an engineering firm before I got on here, and he was talking about how we want to change, because he's an engineering firm. They're very, they were talking about, features and benefits, and he wants to make it more human. Literally, like, this is why we do what we do. And it was a fantastic, and they have a very human mission. They make roads safer through better engineering, right? So there is a human mission. They're literally saving lives through their engineering, right? So it's a great message, and that needs to come across.
Kind of funny, because I was just talking to a friend about the opposite side of this, of when AI starts to be the buyer,
Right.
how advertising and how your website changes, because AI comes in looking for the features and will process the information, whereas a human comes in and needs that kind of like association of the humanity that's there.
Right. So So AI is the first thing they're doing is they want to make sure you're verifiable, right? That this is a trusted source, right?
Yeah.
That really has nothing to do with humanity. They just want to make sure that this is legitimate.
Exactly. Right. Like, yeah, does it fit the thing? And, for a human,
Answering my question.
And that's kind of the funniest part, right? Because the human, we need emotional connection. We need that kind of like grounding in like, hey, I know you as a person are going to, care about what I care about. And how you do that, is kind of, less, not less important, but it's a secondary to after that connection point. So how do you see authenticity playing out like in this world of the world of AI? I know it's going to be a differentiator for people to people connection.
I think just something as simple as doing a LinkedIn post and you actually writing it, and not having AI generate the post.
Okay. I'm fighting that one.
Or you can use it maybe to maybe you can edit it, but ultimately it has to be your voice.
Okay, that's all right. That's where I think the key differentiator is for anybody in this world. It's like, as long as it's your voice that's coming through.
Exactly.
That is really what's going to make it happen. And like, look, if I go into ChatGPT and I kind of say, hey, write me a blog post, right? Like, you get the middle of the road kind of like trash. That's the slop that is just easy to create.
Yes.
But like, one thing that we've done is we've taken, like I was telling you earlier, we take all of our Fireflies calls, every transcript that we have every piece of information that we've written down, and like we've had AI go through and find the voice of like, hey, how does Don speak? Like, what does Don talk about? What is Don like? How does he present ideas? And
Nice.
so that at least gets us to a point where we can say, hey, let's figure out like what is the bones of this. Because I'll be honest with you, I talk a lot better than I write.
Mhm.
And so if I can speak it, it's a lot easier for us to get something out there. And even 20 years ago, I used to have people that would take like what I wrote and spend hours trying to rewrite it into something that was like readable for somebody else.
Well,
So,
also, you can speak a lot faster than you can write.
oh, so much faster.
Especially, with all the places you're from, you're operating at a higher pace.
That's exactly it. Right?
Right.
I mean, it's that East Coast lifestyle that we
It's
get
that
to.
the Northeast, all the type A's, like, all right, finish. I need to finish your sentence. Let's go.
Exactly, exactly. I'm already done with what you thought. Like,
Yeah,
let's
now you
get
go. I already picked up next. Let's go.
all right. So it's kind of fun to have this conversation. I don't know how familiar you are with like fable and mythos and what was going on with Anthropic in the last week or so. Um,
Only from the headlines, from the alerts coming in. No, I didn't really dig. I did not
okay,
dig
so
deep.
here, let's try it. We'll try it out this way then.
Okay.
We're on this progression, and you've probably seen it of like, hey, new model comes out, new capabilities, new model comes out, we're not as excited, right? And then new model comes out, we're really excited, and like all the nerds in the room kind of like jump for joy kind of thing, right? And you go back over the last 3 years, there has been a steady progression of like how these tools have been, leapfrogging themselves.
Hmm.
My the curious question that I have for you is like when it comes to authenticity and creating those real connections, what is it like for your business to have that voice? And like we can talk about it as an individual kind of perspective, but what is an authentic brand kind of voice? What is an authentic really expression of your business?
Great question. All right. So I think for our business, I'm personally, I'm a market strategist, right? So I'm most of my clients are owners and founders.
Yeah.
So I really want to get to know them as well as possible, so I can capture their voice and implement on their vision. So I think to me, that's it's also fun for me, right? I love that, right? So I want to sit down with the owner and find out, hey, this is what are you trying to accomplish? Where are you going? And when someone hangs out with you, what do you want them to experience?
An interest. Yeah. So, okay. So it's really, you're taking that owner's voice and really translating it into like, here's how like your customers will see you. Here's how the market's going to
Yeah,
see you.
exactly. So let's translate that to your brand. So when
Okay.
someone interacts with you and your organization, what's your personal brand? What's the organizational brand? Right?
It's a good divide, right? Because the
Yes.
the personal brand may have an entirely different relationship than you want for the professional brand or for the company to
Yeah.
have.
They're
But
usually a lot of times there's going to be an overlap, but they're
yeah,
usually different.
I mean, I tell people that being an entrepreneur is probably like the greatest self-development, self-growth exercise that you can go
A
after.
100%. Every day, if you should be learning something new about yourself, about your organization, about the industry. Every day should be a learning event.
What was some of the I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the guy was talking about how, the greatest investors in the world are not ones who want to see themselves as being valuable to their investment. In fact, they want to see like the exact opposite. And I
Mhm.
know from being an entrepreneur and like that tie to the emotional kind of connection that I have with my business at times, that's where maybe one of the areas where I've definitely found myself growing lately is like, all right, how do I step away from the process and the experience of being in the business to allow the business to kind of like take care of itself?
Well, it's kind of a paradox, right? Because the business can only grow when you step back,
It's a
right?
good way to put it.
And you gotta let that go, right? Because it's not about your ego anymore. So I did this. It's all about me. And now all of a sudden it's about your team. right? Elevating
Yeah,
the
yeah,
team
yeah.
and let them, put the spotlight on them, right? And for founders and ego, we started the companies, we got huge egos. That's a hard lesson. That's a hard thing to do.
The ego is a funny little animal. Let's just,
Right. Like,
like
hey, you gotta say, this isn't about you anymore.
and that's the truth, right? Like you've got to focus on, hey, here's the problem that we're solving. Here's the customers that we solve it
Right.
for. And then here's the business entity that does it. And like, you
Yes.
get to watch it. And like, if you have kids, you kind of see them grow up and go through that space. But at the
Absolutely,
same
and
time,
that's another huge learning experience is,
yeah, yeah,
talking about being the human factor, having being a parent, right? And watching I'm old, so my kids are in their late 20s, right? So you're watching that whole progression of, they're going through all the different stages of life, and my oldest just recently got married, so it's wild.
yeah, congratulations. It's amazing to kind of see that, like the light switch turn on of as far
Mhm.
as like the conscious experience when they're younger, and then to see
Yes.
them go through life. And then, but like I mean, we're talking about business and then also raising kids then as well.
Mhm.
At some point
Very
down the
similar,
road,
by the way.
and, and that is kind of the thing, right? Like
Right.
you're raising an entity up. And it's so
Exactly.
bad to talk about kids in that way, but, or not really, but there is that similarity that comes along with it. What were some of the lessons that you took from parenting that, have helped you in business as well?
That's a great question. I think, uh, probably every not looking at everything from your perspective, right? Again, getting back to the ego, like everything, it's about me. Well, no, how are they looking at it, right? What's their perspective, from what's the client's perspective, what's the user's perspective, what's your kid's perspective, how are they perceiving this, right? And I think just training that mindset where it's just you're not putting you're not looking at it through your own lens. It was for business, personal. That's huge.
This is nice and timely. I was, trying to see the world through one of my teammates' lenses the other
Yeah.
day and, trying to experience where we could find alignment versus where we're kind of like differing. And it creates a fun little game of like, hey, how can I figure out what's going on in that person's head? Or like, what is it like
Well,
to be in your early
it's
20s
very
now?
similar to, we're both founders, right? When you're closing, right? That's part of the sales process, right? Is you need to get into the prospect's head and find out what their motivations are.
It's very true. And it is one of those things that like, you were describing your engineering CEO, right? Like I am a technologist through and through. I can
Right.
see the features, see like, here's what we do. Here's like
Features,
kind of that
benefits.
activity. Uh-huh. And
Here's the
that's the
formula.
first
This is
place I
what's going
go.
to fly. Right.
Yeah. But like our clients, right? Like they're looking at it from, a different perspective. I was on the phone with another founder earlier and like they're seeing the world of AI and seeing what's going on. And like they're like, hey, I know that if I go with ChatGPT or I go with Anthropic, it's a cool product. But I know that 2 years down the line, they're going to jack their rates up and that basically they will capture the benefit of like what we're doing. And so like we laid out this framework and all these cool things. And like if you're not a technologist, you don't actually know what it is. But one of my other clients was sitting on the phone and he's like, you own your destiny with them. Like, that's basically it. And I was like, dude, that's such a better way to explain that emotional connection than for us to be telling you about the nicks and the knacks of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but here's the challenge that I have for you then on this. I want to bring this back to the authenticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
My authentic expression can be that like, hey, I'm a cool kid with the toy that's like taking apart the radio and wants to show you the internals. How do I bridge that excitement that I have for that into, hey, here's what you can do with that kind of capacity. I don't know if I'm asking
So
the
basically
question.
saying, hey, because you're trying to translate your excitement for this tool into an experience, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, hey, this is we want to. I think you want to communicate the, I'm a big, if you're familiar with the KFD framework.
No, not familiar with
Okay,
it.
so
What is it?
KFD framework, and I did not make this up. It's a it's a classic messaging framework of
Okay.
when someone hangs out with you, Don, what do you want them to know? What do you want them to feel? And what do you want them to do?
Okay. Okay.
So that's it. It's KFD. So like anytime someone interacts with you and your brand, you want to define the KFD.
It's exciting.
Right. So for you, if in that case, right, what do you want them to know? You want them to know about this really cool technology.
And that's kind of the funny thing. I want them to know about that, but I also
Exactly.
want them to recognize that, like, hey, you're a business, and like AI, like software eats the world, right? Like that's the
Mhm.
famous essay that was written back in the early 2000s by the Anderson, no, not Anderson. I can't remember his name, but either way, um, I think we're at the point now AI is eating the world, or it will, because it is offering a lot of benefit. We're in a bit of a bubble in some areas. We're also underutilized in others. And like, we're still in that early kind of, let's figure out how to use this. And there's a lot of misuse that's going on as well. And I think that's where we come back to like, hey, you really got to come back to that authenticity. So like, I want to tell people about that. And then additionally though, I want to say like, hey, you really got to figure out how you own your stake in there. And like, you don't want to be beholden to one vendor. You want to actually be able to make, treat the
So you want
frontier
them to
edge
feel a
of it.
need to learn about this technology.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So your feel is, hey, you need to know about this. But you want them to feel a need. Like, wow, I should learn about this.
I should learn about that. It's so funny. Like I said, I'm in this world every day, right? Like everybody that listens to this has some interest in AI kind of thing and some interest in technology. It's kind of clear in the numbers as far as like where
Mhm.
people come from, but like we've got to make sure that we're kind of setting the stage for like what is that human experience. And like what's been fun talking to you, Adam, about this is like there is that, it's not so much about the technology, it is that feeling that you can kind of come back to. And so like you have summarized this to, I want to get them to feel the need to learn about this technology.
Right.
um,
So I can talk about this for hours. I think every conversation is KFD. So like you do with you said you want them to know, you want them to know about this technology, you want them to feel they have a need, and the do is you want them to take some sort of action to learn about it.
what are the areas in your life that you have found yourself? Actually, I'm going to ask this in a different way. We both have, decades of experience on our hands right
Mhm.
now as far as where we're at. And so I've seen markets go up, markets go down, new tech get adopted, changing and things, but like it still always comes back to some fundamentals.
Mhm.
Like, what do you see are the fundamentals that are true through your business, through your life, going on probably for like, let's say the next 20 years?
I would say fundamentals is it's trust. That is the basic for everything, right? The bottom line is I'm gonna work with you, you're gonna work with me. You need to trust me and my organization that we're gonna do right by you. That's not gonna change, right? And if people don't trust you, they're not gonna they're not gonna they shouldn't even they're not, probably not gonna talk to you, right? So that's never in my and I'm 61. That I don't think that's ever gonna change.
I think you're absolutely right. Like that, it's kind of funny. We were talking about AI and trust architecture the other day too. Like, so it is a matter of like you do business with people you trust. You spend your time with people you trust. And like if
Exactly.
you don't have trust, then it's very hard to build a deeper relationship,
Yeah.
whether it's
So
in business or life.
yeah, you need to connect with that person first on a personal level. Hey, do I like this person? Do I trust them? Okay, check. Okay, I am. Now let's go to the second part. What's the technical? How are we going to deliver? But if you don't check that first box, you're out.
You ever get into Simon Sinek?
I have have his book right behind me. I have all his books, but yeah,
I was gonna
yes.
say, I was like,
Yeah,
I know he's written more than one. I was like, I like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Infinite Game, but
Yeah, if you can't see it, the top shelf right there, they're right there.
that one was That one was interesting for me as far as the infinite game and thinking about it's not just the game that you're playing, but it's the game you're gonna play, and that the rules are kind of somewhat malleable when the end and finish line are not part of the actual game structure. So incredible. What haven't I asked you that you want me to ask?
They're called. No, I did another cool interview, and we talked about some people, like, they act a certain way at work, and then when they're home, they're, and my big thing was, you know what, this is who I am 24/7. I wake up, this is who I am. I go to bed, this is who I am with more, that's it. This is me 24/7, which is fun, because I'm also, I think, just being from the Northeast, we tend to be overly direct.
Okay.
So I'm authentic in the sense that I'm gonna tell you like it is, the way it is. This is how I feel. This is how I think people are perceiving your brand. And a lot of times you got to tell people their baby's ugly, right?
Those are conversations that are fun. We're more of a product company now, and we were
Right.
more of a consulting company before. And the funniest part about it was, like, I was talking to one of my mentors and I was like, "Hey, I got this client who they don't want to hear the truth." And he goes, "You're a consultant. Some days you're actually paid to tell them what they want to hear, but you got to drive them towards what the actual facts are." Like,
Right.
and it is a fun line to walk with your clients to tell them that the baby's ugly. But I think
That's
when
right.
you can do it with a smile, you can do it with some energy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you do it with humor. And you also say, like, "Hey, I know how to get your baby to not be ugly. Like, it's just the road we got to walk down. We got to
Yeah,
kind of admit."
one of my, like, I learned this from an attorney. Like, when illegally, he said, "Well, that's not based on any facts. That's neither accurate nor based on any facts."
That's a good one.
It was fantastic, brilliant. Like, that's not accurate. It's not based on any facts either.
It's not based on any facts either. You're like, "Oh, Jesus, I love it."
You can't really
Um,
argue with that. Well, that statement's not accurate.
yeah, same. It's not really accurate, nor is it based on facts. I was like, you cover it from both angles. Like, it's definitely the lawyer has, like, covered that.
It's not accurate.
It's not accurate or based on any facts. I adore that in the entirety of it. So, all right. So, what advice? Like, let's go into what advice do you have for your kids as far as how they're going into
Okay,
the workforce?
this
And
is my putting on my dad hat.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I've always been an entrepreneur, always owned my own company, and my kids are starting their careers, right? Both
Okay.
doing exceptionally well. Really proud of them. And like one of the things I tried to really instill in them is, when they're looking at their perspective, I want their perspective to be from the organizations, not from them as an employee. Like, I need a 6% raise.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's don't I said, and I said, don't ask for the raise, right? To say, hey, learn about your organization. What are their strategic objectives, and then find out not don't separate you and the company. It's we. What can we do to help the organization move forward?
Yeah.
And then once they understand that this guy cares about the organization and not himself first, all of a sudden now this guy's targeted. We want this person in the organization, and we're gonna take care of him. Right? It becomes a whole different. It's a mindset, right? Which we talked about at the beginning, right? Making sure you have, and there's you have the mindset of, hey, of the collective, and not just about me. And it's not about me and my ego. It's about what's best for the organization.
I appreciate that. And that's some really good advice to, focus on what you can do to actually help the organization, how you can, be of service. And I think that's, just something in general in life is like when we take ourselves out of our own shoes,
Yes.
we can tend to see how small the world actually is.
Exactly. And the other big parenting thing that relates also to business is, if you haven't read Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink,
Yeah.
Brilliant, right? And so that mentality is, I try to instill that with my kids. Hey, man, own your shit, right? Excuse me, if you fuck up, it's okay. Everyone does. Just say, okay, all right, this is on me. I fucked up. I'm going to fix it. And this is what we're doing moving forward. Don't make excuses or look for blame. No one cares, right? It happened yesterday. It's done. Let's move it. Let's fix it and move forward.
I think that's just beautiful advice. And like, I think that we've found ourselves doing that many times in like this, over time. Is like, you kind of realize that the people you want to work with are the people who can be honest about like what they're going through, how they got into that situation, and then what they're doing to get out of it. Because then you take a moment in which you fell down into a learning moment that actually is a space for growth as well. So it kind of goes full circle to, our entrepreneurism is,
we made a mistake. What was the lesson learned from the mistake? And let's fix it and move forward.
yeah, that's incredible. Adam, I got to say, it's been a lot of fun talking to you today. I like the pace. Like, we are definitely, doing the East Coast vibe here, and it was absolutely fun. So thank you once again for being on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It was a lot of fun.